I'm Shayla Montgomery, and if you're new to my channel, make sure to subscribe and like this video to learn more about all things nursing and day in my life as I make daily vlogs. Today I'm going to be sharing with y'all my tips on what you should be doing in high school to prepare for nursing in the future. So I'll be going through things to focus on and things that you shouldn't focus on while you're in your journey in high school preparing to go into a nursing degree. So if this is y'all's first time here, you guys don't know me pretty well. I'm Shayla and I am a rising junior at Warner Pacific University this fall. I'm only 18, and how I got to be a junior as an 18-year-old and going into university for the first year is I graduated from a college prep school called Clackamas Middle College, where I was able to obtain my high school diploma and associate's degree at the same time. So this really has allowed me to join Warner Pacific this fall as a junior ahead of my game. And this January, I'll be applying to nursing school at Warner Pacific and other programs as well. And so I kind of just wanted to share my tips of what I did in high school and the things that I did to make myself as successful as possible this fall and for the years on in nursing school. This brings me right into my first tip of what you should be focusing on while you're in high school. If you're a freshman or maybe you're in middle school right now preparing for high school, the biggest tip that I recommend is applying for dual enrollment in your state. Every state is different. There's different programs in every city, every state, everywhere. But go on Google and look up your state and say dual enrollment or high school and AA diploma high school programs to see if your state allows you to get your high school degree and associate's degree at the same time. Now, remember, you may be thinking, well, my high school has AP classes, so that would work. AP classes are fantastic. However, they're not the same as getting an associate's degree from an accredited college. I got mine from Clackamas Community College, and so that is on my resume as I finished my high school diploma and got my AA degree from Clackamas Community College. So look up if there's schools or programs for you to get your high school diploma from your high school and your associate's degree from an accredited college. Now in your guys' heads, you guys are thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to be so hard. And trust me, it is in certain points. There were nights where I'd stay up super late, days where I didn't feel like getting my associate's degree anymore, and days where I just almost decided to quit getting my associate's degree in general. But you really just have to push through. My plan is to get my prerequisites done at Warner Pacific University this year and apply for nursing school in January. And I'm going to apply to Warner Pacific as well, but my goal is to get into OHSU's accelerated nursing program. This will be only 1 year of nursing school, so I'd be a registered nurse, graduated from nursing school at just 20 years old. Now, if I don't get into the accelerated program, I'll be just 21 as a registered nurse, compared to being in my mid-20s. So really look into getting your associate's degree because it can really be beneficial in the long run. Speaking of college, let's dive right into my tips on finding a school that's worth it for you and fits your personality. I just started looking at schools my junior year, which is fine, and that's typical. A lot of people look at their college choices their junior year of high school. However, I really recommend that you instead look at these schools your freshman and sophomore year. And I know this may seem a little bit too organized, but like I said with the associate's degree, it's really going to help you succeed. Looking at these colleges sets you up to see what GPA do I need to have for the next 4 years? What classes do I need to take? And are the classes I'm taking going to be credited towards this college? Also, you can see what the acceptance rate is and what you have to do to put yourself in the best position to getting into these schools. Before I got into Warner Pacific, my goal was to get into New York University. And trust me, if I would have looked up that school my freshman year and learned exactly what I had to do to get in, I'm sure I would be admitted to that school. However, I didn't know, and I just went the first couple years of high school just going through school and not really paying attention to details. So I really recommend that you look at those colleges and see how you can get in and what you have to do now to reach those dreams. At first, looking up all those colleges can be really overwhelming. So what I really recommend you should do as well is make a document of all these schools. Go on Google Docs and make a list of each university you'd like to get into once you graduate high school. Write down their acceptance rate, average GPA, average ACT score, average SAT score, and also look at the programs that they offer. My goal was also maybe going to University of Oregon, but U of O does not have nursing, so make sure what you want to go into is offered at your college. So really just make a document and list all the requirements and the things that they offer at that school and what their students did to get into that program to keep yourself really organized. Let's move on to volunteer work and extracurricular activities. While I was in high school, I did so much volunteer work and so many extracurricular activities that looked amazing on my college application and now will look amazing on my resume while applying to nursing schools and jobs after I finish my nursing license. So with that said, let's start with volunteering first. Look at hospitals and see where you can volunteer in the hospital to get that experience. I volunteered at OHSU's NICU program, and I was able to do arts and crafts with children waiting for their loved ones to be born. And that was a really good experience of mine because I got to witness what those nurses were doing in that NICU unit and also was able to hang out with families during that time. This also looks amazing on your resume because it shows that you're dedicated and also that you're willing to go out and make those first steps now as a high school student. Also, other places you can volunteer are organizations that are involved in the medical field. The Ronald McDonald House is a great one. They work with families who have loved ones in the hospital. So I really recommend volunteering for that. There's lots of other ones too, and I know that in Oregon, Cascade AIDS Project is another fantastic organization that works in medicine. So really look at your state and look up volunteer opportunities in medicine for whichever state that you live in, and I'm sure you'll find lots for high school students. Of course, you're going to need extracurricular activities as well. What I did while I was in high school is I joined the Oregon Teen Science Alliance at OMSI. Also, I was part of the student healthcare leaders at Adventist Healthcare, and those were two of my biggest opportunities I had in medicine while in high school. So the Oregon Teen Science Alliance, I went every week and I got to talk to teens about different science that's going on right now. We made projects, we made a light up teddy bear that we got to show at a science fair. And then for student healthcare leaders, I went in every week for 4 hours to shadow multiple medical professionals and be mentored by these medical professionals. Both look amazing on a resume and again show that dedication and drive to go into medicine and be a medical professional. So for you, look up internships, shadowing opportunities, or after school clubs that are involved in medicine. I'm sure that you can find one in your state, and if not, reach out to your doctor that you go to right now and see if they're willing to have you shadow at their office, because you never know what opportunities that could bring you as well. If you've looked everywhere and you can't find any internships or shadowing opportunities and your state just is really dry of these opportunities, make sure that you can ask if you can do an interview instead. One thing I did is I interviewed a doctor that works at OHSU. She invited me to her house and I got to interview her about her process of becoming a doctor. Reach out to your medical professionals and ask if they're willing to hop on a phone call or write on an email or even meet in person to talk about how they became a medical professional. So if you can't find shadowing, you can't find internships, and you can't find volunteer activities, just go to interviewing them and interview a bunch. This is also something you can put on your resume, and also it allows you to learn what each of these professionals did during their journey of becoming a doctor or a nurse or any type of medical professional. This last tip I have with things to do while you're in high school isn't a requirement or something that is crucial, however, can be really beneficial. I didn't do it, but I recommend getting your CNA license, phlebotomy license, or even taking classes that are extra towards becoming whatever you want to go into. However, you have to be careful because if you are taking classes, you need to make sure that they will be transferable from the courses you're taking to your future universities. But getting the CNA license, phlebotomy license, or even taking these classes shows medical professionals that you've been in the scene before, you know what's going on, and also in these licensings, you learn the bare minimum of what you're going to be doing in the future, and you can grow in job opportunities. I know someone that started off as a CNA and is now a nurse at the same hospital where she did her CNA working. So really just focusing on getting involved, because CNAs in Oregon can start at just 16 years old and phlebotomists at 18. So don't be afraid to look up online programs you can do to get paid and get experience while you're in high school. Now let's move on to what not to do while you're in high school, because there's many things that you may think are super important and you're going to stress out over that are not needed whatsoever. So I'm here to tell you these things from my own personal experience. This first tip I'm going to tell you is going to blow some of your guys' brains, but you have to know that from my own experience, trust me, I know what's up. You guys are in high school right now or about to enter high school and you're thinking, I have to get a 4.0 GPA or a whatever GPA to be successful or get into college, or I'm not going to become a doctor or a nurse or whatever the case may be. And that's not the case whatsoever. When I was in high school, I did not have anything near a 4.0 GPA, and my college GPA was nowhere near a 4.0 as well. So I'm going to tell you this. When I was also in college, I failed one class. While I was in high school, I didn't fail any classes, but while I was in college, I failed just one class, chemistry, and that was it. And I was thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I'm going to fail. I'm never going to become a doctor of nursing practice. It's over for me. And I thought I would not get into my universities. However, I got into 11 out of the 12 universities that I applied for with my average GPA, with lots of scholarships and lots of grants from these schools, although I thought I wouldn't because of my low GPA. So while you're in high school, don't stress over your GPA. Instead, think about your study habits, getting close to your teachers to get those reference letters, and also just learning how to be the best student you can possibly be. Because while I was in high school, my grades slowly increased as I got to my senior year. And that's because I finally learned how to study and really know what I was learning while I was in classes, instead of just focusing about my GPA. So I really recommend learning study habits and learning how to be the best student you can be rather than just focusing on grades. Because in college, you need to have those study habits nailed down, especially if you're going into medicine. Next, if you're in high school, you're going to have so many adults telling you how hard it is to get into the medical field and how much of a brutal job it is and course load. Now, every single person has different experiences with different things. And trust me, when I would interview people, or I would go shadow, or I'd go get mentored, a lot of them would tell me that nursing school was the hardest thing they've ever gone through. Now, I haven't started nursing school yet, but I've met many people that say this. Nursing school isn't difficult if you apply yourself and study hard. It is difficult if you do not prioritize your education. And so really remember that quote and that saying so you aren't distracted by these negative comments and think that you can't accomplish it. Anything is in reach if you work hard and really believe in yourself. So don't listen to those adults or those professionals that are telling you it's way too hard for you to obtain that degree. Last but certainly not least, just like people telling you it's going to be hard, there's going to be people who say you can't do it and say that you're not qualified enough, you're not smart enough, you're not determined enough to become a nurse or a doctor or anything in medicine. There's going to be at least one person in your life who is going to say that you're not going to be able to do it. For me, it was unfortunately my high school advisor who told me that I was not smart enough or had the qualifications due to my previous grades to get into my universities of choice, and actually told me to apply for a different type of school program in the future. And I remember going out of her office with tears in my eyes because I was just so heartbroken, because I've dreamed of going into medicine since I was a very young girl. So don't listen to those people, because if I would have listened to her, I would have canceled all my applications and applied for something like English or something in the arts, and trust me, those people are amazing, but my dream was medicine. And look, I got into 11 out of the 12 universities I applied for, and the only one I didn't get into was NYU. So really just focus on yourself and don't listen to people who are trying to bash you for your dreams. Instead, use that as fuel to get where you want to be in life. Well, y'all, that was it for today's video. I hope you got some tips on what to focus on and what not to focus on while you're in high school preparing for nursing school or pre-medical school, because there's lots of things that can take you off course and can help you on your road to success. So if you'd like to see more videos about nursing, see my journey within nursing school this fall and for the next couple years, make sure to subscribe and follow me on Instagram. I'll have all of that down below, and I will see you guys next week for the next video. Bye!